Alrighty, folks, my name is Brannon Beliso, and this is my monthly Q&A webinar with Brannon Beliso presented by Rainmaker. Simple, powerful, and easy-to-use martial arts software. I thank you for participating in my webinar. I'm a service-based business model. It's very innovative and different for what we do in our industry. Everybody who knows me, we don't do long-term contracts. We do month-to-month with a 30-day cancel. We have no black belt club, master's club, upgrades. We do not have belt testing fees. We do not have enrollment fees. We don't believe in that concept. My value system, I perceive it as nickel and diming people. The whole upgrade, upgrade, upgrade thing. You walk through the door at a low price point, and by the time you're done, they've got the undercoating on the car, the paint you don't want, the heated seats. It's that used car salesman mentality, and it just, for me, is not in line with my value system and not in line with what I envision for my schools. So please don't get me wrong with that. I'm going to start off with that because that was one of the questions, was brought up to me is, how can you do that when everybody in the industry does otherwise? I have a black belt club. I have a leadership. I believe in upgrades. That's what matters most because it fits your value system. Who am I to say? Who am I to say? If you believe in contracts, a lot of the Taekwondo guys will tell me, well, because it promotes commitment. I'm not going to teach anybody that's not going to sign up a minimum of 1 year because they're not committed to the art, they're not committed to the program, and I can't help that type of student. I don't want that type of students. And I look at them and I applaud them and I say, good for you, because that's your value system, that's what you believe in. But then I also ask, is it working for you? Is it working for you? All right? And with that said, keep in mind, no contracts, no upgrades, no belt testing fees, no enrollment fees, right? All those things we don't do. Our second location has been open 95 days, and we have earned 96 active students with 53 still on trials. Now, from what I understand, talking to people in the industry, those are some pretty good numbers. I mean, we're not a fitness club, mind you. We are a martial arts school, and we have 96 active members. So do a reality check. Have you been open 95 days and have 96 active students? Ask yourself that question. If you've been around 7 years, 8 years, and you got a couple hundred students, I don't know if that would work for me. That's not my business model. That's not what I believe as an entrepreneur is a good business model, right? So do a reality check. Look at that number. We have 53 still on trials. This is our second location so far. In the month of May, we have 10 trials, 8 new members, and our retention rate is 99.2%. That's 1.8 attrition rate. That's really, really low, really low. And then our San Francisco location, as of May today, we have 612 active members. And we do that in 3,700 square feet, which is, I think, a feat within itself. It's pretty hard to run that many students, but we're pretty creative in our scheduling. We have a lot of classes. Again, 10 trials at that location, 10 new members. The retention rate is lower. I mean, ideally, I would love to see the retention rate up around 98%. 1 to 2% is a good attrition rate to grow your school. I think the big challenge that we've experienced with 612 members, that's a real challenge to do. It's a real challenge to do. So are we happy with the 95.9 as retention? For me, it still could be better. That's 4.1 attrition rate. And by industry standards, that's pretty low. I mean, that's pretty awful. So we want to do better on that, and we work constantly to improve upon that. Cool? So these stats I post all the time because statistics to me are really, really crucial. They help me understand that, I can say I'm a great instructor. I can say I'm an awesome teacher. I can say people love me. Yeah. But if I have 100 students, I've been around 20 years, I'm famous in my own mind. And that's it. And that's the reality of that. And I need to be mindful of that and look at that. So please look at your statistics. They do not lie. Numbers do not lie. They tell you the truth. So you want to look at that and study them all the time. Now, as we roll into these questions, please take out that piece of paper. Everybody have your piece of paper? Write down your 3 top values. What are your 3 top values? Okay? What are your 3 top values? Write them down. And that could be integrity, to do the right thing. That could be we're a family school. That could be, for me personally, my main demographic are kids and women. We have a lot of men, but my main purpose is kids and women. I grew up very, very poor. I grew up in an impoverished environment where I watched children and women suffer under the tyranny of men. I saw that a lot. So I have a very deep passion for empowering children and empowering women. And that to me is one of my values I will not compromise. For some of the reasons we don't have certain programs in our school because it doesn't fit that purpose. You feel me? So write down those things and post them in the box. All the new people coming on the call. Any of your values, just shoot them to me really, really quick. Type them in. Type them in. This is interactive, so I want to hear your values, your conviction. Give me one or two, somebody quickly. Adam, Kevin, Bob, Chris, Mike, Gary, Carl. Anybody, just type one in. Christine, type it in. Good. Everybody's still there. Yeah, family, integrity, having fun. Absolutely. We are committed to fun. Fun should be important. I think self-discipline is fun. Learning is fun. It is, right? Feeling fit is fun. Creating that community is fun. Integrity. Good. Now, the reason I have you write down these things, everybody on the call, is because if anything I say doesn't resonate with those values or it's in direct conflict with those values, then don't do it. I don't have the answers for everybody. I don't. I don't. But please, if it fits your value system, if it's something that resonates with you at a heart level, embrace it and run with it. Because I don't care how great someone's program is. If you don't believe in it, if it doesn't fit your value system, you will fail at implementing that program. You'll fail, right? Making leaders, personal development, absolutely. Personal development. Is anyone else having audio problems? Toby's having some audio problems. Anybody having audio problems with my mic right now? Is everybody able to hear me just fine? Anybody having problems with that? Yes or no? No? Everybody's solid? No, Bob says he's solid, good on their end. Doug says he's good. Toby, it might be you, sir. You may want to shut down and reboot. Try that. But we're going to move forward, okay? Here we go. All right, the first question. I know the industry standard says don't display your rates until the prospect has had a chance to see in person the true value of our program. Is there a better way to be more upfront to the point of displaying our regular price on our website as a way to qualify quality leads? Or is it still best to try and get as many leads as possible, even though a large number may not have any intention of ever signing up? Here's my answer on that. Be as transparent as possible. It promotes a culture of honesty and trust. And what made me post my prices at my website, what makes me keep my prices right up front, we have it on the rack. You can walk in, grab a sheet, and walk right out the door with all our prices on it. And we give them over the phone readily. Because, if you can't afford us, then it makes no sense to do a trial. You go through this trial and you find out you can't afford us. It's a horrible experience. And I polled a bunch of moms, not only in our school, but throughout our community, and I asked them, would you like to know what it's going to cost you up front? And you know what their answer was? Absolutely. Because it would be embarrassing if I spend a month at some place doing martial arts or swimming or whatever, and then I find out I can't afford them after. I feel guilty. I feel inadequate. It's not a good feeling. So I really sat with that for a minute and went, I mean, it's much like when you buy something. Don't you sit there and price it out first? If you want to buy a Tesla, don't you know what it costs going in the door when you walked into that showroom? If you want to go to a 5-star restaurant, aren't you going to look online and kind of look at their menu and stuff first? I mean, all those things. You do want to know what prices. That's why people do their shopping online. It's the same thing here. I think by putting your money up front, putting your prices up front, your different programs, you say, hey, this is who we are and this is what we charge. And then what we try to do is when people are on that trial for 4 weeks and $99, we spend every minute trying to show them why the benefits we have to offer are worth paying us $199, $189 for twice a week. So you want to be transparent as possible. People say it's the new buzz thing in just business and entrepreneurship across the board, but it shouldn't be. Being honest and transparent in your business is crucial to developing those relationships. I say it all the time. People will invest in relationships time and time again. Anybody can teach them to kick and punch. Oh, step back. I know our ego says, not the way I teach it. Okay, I get that. But the average consumer walking through the door doesn't know that. They do not know that. So creating those relationships are really what's the gist of what we're trying to do. Cool? So post your prices at your website, give them over the phone, offer them to anyone walking through the door. I challenge everybody to do those 3 things today, and you're going to watch your sign-up rate higher, you're going to watch your conversion rate be higher, and you're going to watch your retention be higher. Because from day one, you're saying, hey, we're transparent, we're somebody you can trust, we're an honest business. Do you have the same rate for a student who trains one night as you do for 2 nights? No. We do a once a week program for $149 and we do a twice a week program at $189. This is the rate sheet that we hand out to people when they walk through the door. Simple, plain, do look at us at Yelp. We've been voted Barrier Parents Hall of Fame, best martial arts school. But look at that. Look at the highlights. No long-term contracts. Why am I going to put that there? Because everybody in my community has long-term contracts. So there's something different. There's a why. For what it's worth, there's a why. Pay month to month and cancel with a 30-day notice. There's another why. Wow. What an easy entry point. Are you more likely to sign up with me as a mom with a 5-year-old if I say, hey, it's just month to month and there's a 30-day cancellation notice? Or you have that 5-year-old, I say, we have a minimum 1-year contract and you're committed for a year. Do the math. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? Anybody moms on the line? Anybody who's a mom out there? You give me your 2 cents on that right away. What do you think, moms? What do you think, moms? Any moms on that line? What would you rather do? Month to month with a 30-day cancel? Or would you be happy locking your 5-6-year-old into a 1-year contract? Anybody? Well, type it in there if you get the opportunity, okay? And then the second thing that came about that was, month to month. Thank you, Maria. Maria's a mom. She says it month to month. Listen to your moms. They're the ones bringing the kids, right? No, I teach martial arts. Me. Me monster. Stop being a me monster. It's about me. No, it's not. I'm a servant of the community. And if I serve really, really well, I believe the byproduct is you're going to be prosperous. I believe that. And the hardest thing I get that I know right away when it's ego, when someone looks me in the eye and says, no, we must get them to understand. What? We must get them to understand. In the martial arts, it's about commitment. We must get them to understand. No, if you want to be successful in your business, you have to understand your consumer. You have to understand the pulse of your community and what they want and need. It's the other way around. And that great saying, seek to understand versus being understood, is one thing I live by in what we promote in our culture. And I think that's a huge reason why we're as successful as we are. Okay, so looking that, and it says there on the bottom, no refunds. You're required to submit a 30-day notice and will be charged 1 month final. All that's there, plain as day. So people understand coming through the door how clear that is. Now, will you still have that person going, well, humming and hawing about the 30-day paying for it? Absolutely. And if they push it enough, we let them out. We let them out. You know why? The bad press associated with that dissension is not a good thing. So what? I'm going to hold their feet to the iron for a 30-day, cancellation fee? You're too busy trying to save 50 cents instead of earning $1. Earn that dollar. And I've had those people come back to me 4 years later with a sibling or 2 years later with the same kid wanting to start martial arts up again. Why? Because I made sure their exit was just as amazing and loving and warm and fuzzy as their entrance when they walked through the door. I said to my team the other day on Friday, we had a conversation. I said, please don't call me your boss. I am not your boss. They go, what do you mean? You pay us. I said, no, I don't. They go, what do you mean? I said, no, every client that steps up to this front desk, they pay us. I simply distribute the money. I am not your boss. Every one of these moms, every one of these women who do kickboxing, every one of these kids, every one of these dads, they are our boss. They pay us the money, and we simply, run it through payroll. So be mindful. Everybody that steps up to this front desk is not just a face, is not just a prospect. No, they are our boss. You feel me? So that's been really important. Then, people look at the once a week, and that was a tough one for me too. And I know it, with the martial arts spirit. I get it, people. I grew up training 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, tournaments every other weekend. But you know what? Not everybody studies martial arts for the reasons we do. You feel me? So I realize my son goes to soccer once a week. My daughter goes to little gym once a week. My son does swimming once a week. You see a pattern here? Oh. Kids' activities are pretty much once a week. Okay, great. So I developed a once-a-week program at $149. Kiyoshi Carver says it the best. A little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing, right? Better than a whole lot of nothing. So they get entered in the martial arts once a week. Are they, not getting the most out of their program? No, because that 45 minutes they're there once a week, we give them so much love. There's no way they're not going to benefit from our programs. Cool? All right. So moving forward, let's see the next question. How long are your classes? Okay, this is just administrative, so I'll get through this quickly. 40 minutes for preschoolers in kindergarten. I know everybody says 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. My son's swimming, 30 minutes. Soccer, 30 minutes. Little gym, 30 minutes. I want to offer a higher value. right? That perceived added value. Perceived added value. Write that one down. Perceived added value. You know, if I'm paying you $100 and I get $200 worth of value, I'm a happy camper. Same thing here. If I can come to you for 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes in some other kid's activity, I feel like I'm getting that added value. So that's why we tacked on that extra 10 minutes. You know, because we felt in that 10 minutes we do a game at the end, we do our match chat in the beginning, you know, we make sure those things happen. It's about a 40-minute class. Youth karate, 45 minutes, because we know the attention span after 45 minutes, it is not productive for most children. I grew up training in the martial arts 2 hours every day at the age of 5. 2 hours every day at the age of 5. That's not productive for most kids that age, right? So 45 minutes is great. Fitness kickboxing is 55 minutes. Adult martial arts is 60 minutes. What percentage of students enroll in a once a week versus the twice a week program? In our school, 35% are once a week, 65% are twice a week. Now, talk to Jonathan, it's Jonathan Hewitt at Life Keto. He has 500 some odd students, 512 in 2,200 square feet, some number like that. And he will tell you over 350 of them are once a week students. It might be higher than that. Ask Jonathan at Facebook. Can you believe that? You know, when he adopted that once a week program, it blew up for him because that's what people's comfort level is. That's what people are willing to commit to. The art is for us as martial arts instructors designing a curriculum that is just as engaging at that once a week as it is twice a week, 3 times 4, whatever. That is the art. And that's the art I believe we work on constantly that we strive to master. In your once a week programs, how does the testing cycle work for these students? It's the same cycle as a twice a week student. The goal was to design a curriculum that worked for both. When we first did the once a week program, we were teaching 2 different curriculums. Do you know what a nightmare that was? For at the time we're over 500 students, it was a nightmare. So it became a matter of designing a curriculum that worked for both. So quickly in a nutshell, I'm a twice a week student. My first day of the week, I do all curriculum, working towards my tip. The second day, my B day, all sparring drills, skills, bag work, and sparring. I'm the once a week student. I come on my first week, I do all curriculum. I come on the second week, the first 20 minutes is curriculum, the last 25 minutes is all drills and sparring. Third week, all curriculum. Fourth week, 20 minutes of curriculum, 25 minutes of sparring and drills. You see that? So we're able to work that out so it works really, really well, really well. And we find that as far as administering that curriculum, we're a lot more successful. Our retention rate is higher. Nobody's getting left behind in belt testing. But more than that, they're more proficient. How many of you are fighters out there? Any fighters out there? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Come on. Fighters. Let me know. Fighters. Fighters. Any fighters out there? This is important. Come on. Be proud. I'm a fighter. I was a fighter for years. Type it in. Any fighters? Yes. 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 Okay. Tell me. How many martial arts techniques do you use when you're in the ring to spar? Really? How many? Go ahead. I'm waiting. Yeah, 3 to 5, 5 to 8, a handful, 4-ish. Listen to that. So it's not about having a million techniques. It's really about the quality. My dad used to say that. Do you want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none? I give you an axe, a blowtorch, a gun, a bow and arrow, boom, boom, boom. You can't hit the bullseye. But I have a pea shooter. I have a straw and a pea, and I can hit that bullseye every time. Which one's more effective? It's the same thing here. So yeah, we love our katas. Yeah, we love our self-defense techniques. Yeah, we love all the different things in our Kenpo system. But all we did was slice and dice it and spread it out, where it's more accommodating, where people are. It's about learning and comprehension and being effective, and not so much on just memorization. And people pride themselves on that. Oh, for my black belt test, I had to do 50,000 katas and da 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 da. But come on, when the day's done, reality is reality. What? 4-ish? 4 techniques, as many as 8 in a ring. So be mindful of that. Cool? All right. Here's one. We used to tell school owners to keep cash outs to about 10 to 15%. As a top owner, oh, thank you. I didn't even see that. As a top owner, do you agree with that number? Also, what is your most effective strategy for increasing cash outs? And how much of a discount do you typically offer for a cash out, if any? I'm a businessman. On that level, when we talk about money, I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. I get that. So you should never say no to somebody wanting to offer you a payment. Now, separate our art, separate our service-based mindset for a moment, okay? Let's look at that. Never say no to somebody wanting to offer you money. Cash outs aren't a bad thing if you're disciplined enough to spread out that money over the months to come. We only offer this. We offer to do on a paid in full 12 months, we offer 10% discount. So if you want to do a paid in full, right, even though we're month to month, 30-day cancel, if you look at it and go, hey, can I pay for a whole year? It's easier for me. It's more convenient. We say, absolutely. If you do it paid in full, then we'll give you 10% off the total price. That's it. That's all we do. That's all we do. And some people take us up on it, some don't, but we don't push it. But we are mindful that if you pay me for a whole year, it's spread out over 12 months. See, that's where this big dilemma came in with Cashouts. Is people would have this fat month, $90,000. Boom. Next month they're staring at 15K and they're scratching their head going, hey man, this is not happening. No, you just need to be mindful. It's much like the fitness industry in that respect. January is going to be really, really, really busy. Back to school is going to be really, really busy. Things slow down for some schools during the summer and the holidays, and that's just the trends, right? That's just the trends. So you want to be mindful when you make all that money, you still want to budget it out over X number of months. So cash outs are not a bad thing if you manage the money properly. Does that make sense? The big reason we say they're not a good thing is because, yay, I got 90,000. You spend all that money and then you don't have money to pay rent the following month. So you want to be very mindful. And then that's my take on that. Cool? All right. People ask me on this one all the time. I have always worked my numbers out by the students. I have heard you say you do it by the floor space. Please explain. Okay. Any retail store, any fine restaurant uses a basic formula where you take your gross and you divide it by the square feet of your school. Okay? That is a more accurate way to determine your profitability or where you sit. Because if I have 10 students in 1,000, square feet, okay, that's a good profit margin compared to the guy that has 10 students in 15,000 square feet. So do not base it upon your student value. That's not an accurate way to look at, and talk to any entrepreneur, whether it's a restaurant, a dry cleaner, a retail store. So for example, we grossed $1,010,000 in 3,700 square feet for 2014. Divide the gross by the square feet, you get $273 per square foot. That's really, really high. That's really high. So take out a pen, do that really quickly in your school. How many square feet? How much money you made last year? And divide the two. Tell me what your student value is. Anybody? Right now. I mean your per square foot. Anybody? Quickly, quickly. Hang on to that question, Ian. I'll pick that up at the end, okay? Make sure to give me that question at the end about how I structure curriculum, all right? Yeah, see, Jonathan's rocking. There's Jonathan, right? But like I said, he's running. Jonathan, how many students do you have and how many square feet, right? See, Jonathan said he's doing $340 per square foot. That's insane. That's an insane amount of money because he has how many students? 550 or something like that, and 2,200 square feet. 2,200 square feet, right, Jonathan? Is that correct? Type that in, sir. Anybody else want to put their numbers in? Come on. Transparency. Own it. Own it. What did you make last year? What was your gross revenue? Divide it by square feet. Divide it by square feet, right? So Jonathan says he's doing $340 per square foot. Cool? Cool. So let me move forward on that. Nobody's typing in any answers. So that's cool. If you don't want to share that, I feel you. I feel you. Sam, hang on to that question, Sam. Yeah, see, Jonathan's running 2,100 square feet. 21. That's insane. And you have 530 students. And that's why he's doing those numbers. That's why he's doing those numbers. Okay? So, let me move forward with this now. Hang on to those questions, right? We'll do them right at the end. Now, here's a big one. This is a big one for all of us. What do you recommend for time management? Time management is brutal for all of us. Every one of us. How many of you sit there and work all day long, 14-hour days, and then when you start packing up at the end of the day, you look around and go, I haven't gotten anything done. Time management is really crucial. How often are you in the middle of doing something and somebody will walk through the door from the tournament circuit or an old student and they sit there and you sit there talking with them for an hour, and you just burn an hour of your time? How many of you sit there in the morning and the first thing you do is open up your computer and go to Facebook and you sit there for an hour at Facebook? You have to have a discipline. You really have to have a discipline. And you need those rituals. You need those routines. You need to sit down and write them out. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Check your emails. What's the next thing you do? Finish a deadline. What's the next thing you do? The last thing you should do is be looking at your Facebook. But people do that. They go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, and they're there for hours just surfing and cruising. And that's not the best way to use your time. So one of the things I do passionately is I divide my tasks weekly into 3 lists: A, B, and C. A is those daily activities such as teaching quality classes, training, eating healthy, picking up your kids from school, and getting enough sleep, right? Very clear on that. You want to make sure that the things that have to happen today, which are open the door, take the money, teach the classes. I get that. If that doesn't happen today, you fail miserably. B lists, everything that has to happen from 4 to 6 weeks. Say you have a buddy day or belt testing or some event coming up. Those need to be promoted at least 4 to 6 weeks out, right? At least 4 to 6 weeks out. So that would be that B list, right? Maybe tax deadlines that was coming up in April. Maybe you've got summer camp coming up and you're going to do a big fair. That's 4 to 6 weeks, okay? 4 to 6 weeks. And then C, this is a big one for me. This is your wish list. Fill it with all the things you dream about. All the things you dream about, such as a vacation you want to take around the world, buying a new home, or going skydiving. That C list for me is crucial. Then at the end of the week, I look heavily at the A, B list, and whatever's not crossed off, guess what? It gets put on a brand new list for next week. And it's a constant cycle. You look at the list, you do it, you cross it off. You do it, you cross it off. And I'll even prioritize on that daily activity. It's got to be prioritized, right? I get a document from the government. They need this tax thing filled out, or my bookkeeper needs this for taxes. Boom, that might take instant precedence. Oh, boom, toilet broke at the first location. Man, at the top of that A list, on my A list is going to go call a plumber, get him in, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to be mindful of that, but you need to write out the list. If I can see it, I can be it. Write that one down. If I can see it, I can be it. If you write these things down and you're able to see them, then you're more proactive to act upon them. And I'm trying to discipline myself better with that because I have a secretary. I actually have 2 now, and they remind me of what to do. And that's not a good thing. I want to have that self-discipline to do it on my own. So I keep a little Franklin planner thing with me at all times. I just write it down, write it down, write it down. But the key thing is once you write it down, do you follow through? Do you take action? Do you make sure that something happens? How many times do you sit at these conventions, you write pages and pages and pages and pages of notes, get back to your school and do nothing with them? See, so that's the huge disconnect that happens is, the world is filled with good intention. My intention is to do this, this, and this. You get back to your school and you do none of it. So you need to be an action taker, and that's where that big disconnect is. Some people are good note takers, terrible action takers. You know why they're terrible action takers? Because they are not clear on what their values are. If I'm clear about what my values are, if I'm clear about what my purpose is, if I'm clear on what I want my business to look like in the next 3 to 5 years, if I'm clear of what that picture is, then I know what programs, systems, tools, the things I need to build that, to make that happen. You feel me? But if I take all these notes, like you probably will today, and I'm not clear on what my vision or purpose or what needs to happen in my business on my A list, on my B list, on my C list, if I don't do those things, guess what? I'll do nothing with everything I've written today. You feel me on that? You feel me? Huh? Who's there? You feel me? You feel me? Is marketing A or B list? I'll answer that really, really quick. Okay? Is it A or B? Well, I think it's on all 3 lists. How is it on my A list? Well, when somebody walks through that door and we say hello within the first 5 seconds, when we give them prices immediately, when we serve them really well and we're attentive, that's marketing. A great Korean instructor came to my school and he watched us, operate. And at the end of it, he said to me, "You guys are always selling." I said, "What do you mean, sir? We don't sell at all." He says, "Yes, you do. When you tie that kid's belt, when you say hello within the first 5 seconds, when that front desk is so helpful to that, and the way your instructors treat these kids and the parents, you're selling all the time." He said, "Yep, sir. We call it the art of selling without selling. Like Bruce Lee said, it's the art of fighting without fighting." Right? We're the same thing. We're selling all the time. So that would be your A list, sir. All the time. The B list, those tasks that must be accomplished in 4 to 6 weeks, we're doing a direct mail piece. We're finding with the second location, Millbrae, which is a smaller, tighter community, Facebook ads are not nearly as effective as Facebook ads in our San Francisco location. And that's just, we've only been open 3 months at this location, but we're learning that. So, but what we have found which was super ineffective in San Francisco, is everyday direct mail. So we're doing these direct mail pieces in our Millbrae community, and they're very effective. And I know people say direct mail is dead, emails replaced it, but I don't think so. We've learned that here in the Millbrae community. So that's a 4 to 6 week activity right there. Designing the piece, printing the piece, preparing the piece, and getting it out. So marketing for 4 to 6. And then your C list, yeah, absolutely. Maybe you want to put a bigger sign at the front of your school. Maybe you want to shoot a commercial for your school, because we know video is the future. It's now. Google bought YouTube. So you want to start working on those video ads. Facebook talks about it all the time. You need video ads, but please be mindful of the videos that you post. Be really, really mindful. We have a new commercial. If you go to Yelp.com and look at One Martial Arts in Millbrae, we have a commercial for our Millbrae location, and we've only been open 3 months. It was very cheap, very effective to do through Yelp. We have one for San Francisco, so do take a look at that. Someone said, why didn't you just use a San Francisco commercial for Millbrae? No, no, no. That's like totally, you're missing the boat on that. Totally missing the boat. They're two different locations. They serve two different needs, so you want to be mindful of that. But you'll see the consistency in the brand. Cool? So I hope that answers that question. Just kind of got off a little bit with marketing. Now, this is a big one, okay? Because we all suffer from this. I was talking to somebody last night online, and they were saying the same thing to me. The same thing. They were saying, well, I got a couple of internal staffing issues. That is all day, every day. All day, every day. But you know what's brilliant in talking to Nick Cirillo? The pizza industry, the turnover rate of employees is like 200%. So when I was coming back from Germany last year, I stopped in Chicago, and I took Nick Cirillo's Trust and Track Leadership Workshop. And you know why? People goes, well, he's a pizza guy. What's that got to do with martial arts? No, you know what intrigued me? You know what his turnover rate is? 20%. 20% employee turnover in a pizza restaurant. Whereas the industry for pizza is 200%. So how did he cut that by 180%? And it's really about having clear goals. It's really about, hiring people properly. You hire people, the challenge in the way people hire, and I want to cover that, but just let me answer this question quickly. We use Craigslist, the college career centers, and referrals. Those are the three main ways we do that. Craigslist is very effective. It's cheap. You can get a lot of candidates. I mean, we get hundreds all the time. College referral centers, nearby colleges, is a great one. If you have your system super, super tight, you can hire a high school girl. The one that's running my new location in Millbrae, our front desk, primarily, she's 20 years old. If the systems are right, if the service is right, if the quality of the product is right, if they're trained properly, then I don't believe you should need somebody that's got like a BA in business administration and all those different things. I really don't believe that. And who said that really well? Ray Kroc. If you read the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, one of the things he focuses on heavily is Ray Kroc, the guy who, put McDonald's together and put McDonald's on the map. His belief system is, if I can create a system where the lowest common denominator, and I don't say that to be derogatory, a high school student can perform extraordinarily, which they do. I mean, they're so systematic in those McDonald's, which I don't eat at, but they're so systematic, they perform really, really well. So that's what I'm going to ask you in that. The more important answer for this is a question. What is your hiring process? If you complain that you're not getting the right people, and the drama with the student or employee can have a bigger impact to the academy as a whole, I get that. But I think you need to focus on your hiring process. So we do all the Craigslist. We got hundreds of applications. How do we weed them out? Of course, it's statistic. Okay, he can do A, he can do B, he can do C, boom, boom, boom. They fit our basic, statistic. But, anything you put on paper can be anything on paper. You've ever had that? They look perfect on paper. We've heard that. Well, that saying came from somewhere. They look great on paper. They look great on paper. But once I got them and I talked to them, it's a whole different day. So once we do the statistical interview and we narrow it down, the next thing we do is a cultural interview. A cultural interview. And what that is I physically meet with them. And you know what I do with them? I take them for a walk. Why do we walk? Studies have proven scientifically when you walk, the left and right brain are engaged. So they're fully integrated in that moment. You feel me? So we want them fully engaged. The right side of the brain is for left-handed people. It's the creative side. The left side of the brain is more analytical, statistics, by the numbers. So by walking with them, and the questions I ask them, they would probably buck OSHA standards, right? They would buck those OSHA standards. You can't ask that question. You can't ask that question. Well, this isn't in an interview. We're just hanging out, walking around. And it changes. And I let them know that. We're no longer interviewing. I just want to hang out with you. So I make it very clear so I don't violate those OSHA standards. You can't answer that question if you're going to hire somebody. You can't. So I'm very mindful of that. And then we just find out who they are. And what I'm really about is what is their purpose? What is their passion? What is their business, their vision? And can it work into our culture of what we do? It's a more tedious hiring process. And Nick taught me that, because I was in Chicago. And one night, Nick, who owns two pizza locations, grossing $3 million a year, he was hostessing at one of the locations. And I'm going, Nick, you're the hostess. That doesn't make any sense to me. Can't you hire somebody to do that? You know what he said? We're very, very, very picky about who we hire. And I went, wow, wow. And this is coming from a guy that owns a pizza parlor, right? Think about that. So we need to be very picky about who we hire, or you will get all that drama you talk about. So really, I'd ask yourself that question. What is your hiring process? Hone it down, whittle away, and make it tight and right. All right, what action steps does your team take if a student hasn't been in class for a week? Are the steps different if the student is MIA for longer than that? We call them or Facebook them depending on a relationship we have with them and send out a miss you card but would like some fresh ideas. Number one, we use an MIA flow via Rainmaker. Rainmaker notifies us if somebody's missed more than a week of classes, and then we go proactive. We'll send them we miss you card. We'll check their attendance and see the next time they come in class. But I'm ever mindful not to cross boundaries. You say we call them or Facebook them depending upon the relationship. That, to me, is a red light right there. That's a red light. That's very inconsistent for a system. Well, I knew this person well, so I called them up. I don't know this person well, so I don't call them up. That's not a good system. It's not. You need a system that governs everybody the same way. You feel me on that? Can you feel that? So be very clear with that. When I saw that was a huge red flag for me. So we do the flow via Rainmaker. We make sure we're monitoring the attendance, and if they don't make class, then there'll be an email, and then after that, but our clients are pretty good. They normally respond. If I send you a we miss you card and I send you an email and you don't respond, then odds are you don't want to talk to me, and then we're going to close them out. We're going to say, hey, we noticed you haven't been coming to class. You didn't submit a 30-day notice. So what we'd like to do after a month is we're going to close you out. We're simply going to, stop payments. Everything stops, and we close the books and send them, thank you for the time you spent with us. Thank you for allowing us to serve you. Is there something we could have done better? Please answer the survey. And by the way, if you want to reactivate, here's a $50 gift certificate. But we're ever mindful of that. I think sometimes because we believe who we are in the world as martial arts instructors, that we have carte blanche to intrude upon people's lives and call them, because I'm not just their teacher, I'm a martial arts instructor. If my kid doesn't show up at school, his school doesn't call me, I get some automated message. That's what I get, right? So we want to be mindful not to be intrusive that way. So check out those MI flows via Rainmaker. How many staff do you have for the school size you run? How many hours do the staff work? Do you allow them to take breaks halfway through their shift like a regular 9-to-5 job, or are they not able to take breaks during peak times? That is another red flag. Just that question is a red flag. I'm going to tell you why. Because you need to follow every OSHA standard that's out there. Every business standard that's in your community that governs your state, you need to make happen. If they're supposed to get a 15-minute break every 4 hours or 5 hours, make sure that happens. Us, it's every 4 hours in San Francisco. They need a 15-minute break. We make sure that we schedule that in. We make sure that happens. If they work 5 hours, they get a 30-minute lunch. That is law. Do not break that law. So at our first location, we're running 612 students. We have 19 people on staff. Now, that varies. I'd say a handful of them, maybe 5 to 6, are doing 30 to 40 hours a week. Everybody else is part-time. 1 hour here, 3 hours there, 4 hours there. Same thing in the second location. We have 96 active, and we have 9 staff. 1 is full-time. The rest, he rests part-time. I should have fixed that. The rest are part-time. So you want to be mindful. But what I think more than that, when we talk about staffing, is to staff effectively. Honestly, if I have 3 knuckleheads on the floor, I have 3 knuckleheads. I'd rather have 1 rock star than 3 warm bodies. You feel me? And that goes back to having those great systems of staff training. If you don't have a system of staff training to train your instructors, we have an instructors in training program. Anybody need that document? Email me at professor@onemartialarts.com. I'll get that to you. If you don't have a system of staff training your front desk, training your people on the floor, then it doesn't matter. I could give you 100 people on the floor. They still won't know what to do. You need to train them properly, and then train them again and train them some more. Cool? And that's important for us because one of the parents, every parent will say to you, what's one of the main questions a prospect will ask you? How many kids in a class? right? How many kids in the class? And I said to this one guy, you guys are always posting at Facebook, oh, packed house tonight. Oh, look at me, full class. You got you standing there alone with 40 kids. I'm a prospect. I'm a potential parent. You think that's going to make me happy? Type it in. Type it in. I want some answers. Give me an answer. Because you know you've all done it, right? How many of you have done that before? Come on. Who has sat there and posted at Facebook a picture of themselves, all by themselves with a class packed? Rich, you've done that. Chris, good for you. You haven't. Be honest. Own it. How many of you have done that before? Because you think it's so cool you got a packed class. Again, that might be, oh, Chris, you're guilty of that. You know, that might be cool to another school owner. Wow, look at me. I'm Sandra D. But honestly, I'm a potential parent. And I'm looking at you all by yourself with 30, 40 kids. That's a huge turnoff. Huge, huge, huge. You feel me? So please stop doing that. Okay? Please stop doing that. So it's about, we tell them, well, our class sizes are anywhere from 10 to 30 kids a class, but we work with a low student to teacher ratio. Low student to teacher ratio. For every 7 to 8 kids, you'll see at least one instructor on the floor. There's always one senior instructor, there's always an assistant instructor, and then we have our instructors in training. So we're very, very clear about that. Now, this third question here. Do you have a bonus structure for any of your instructors or have any incentives to help with keeping students around, building more solid connections with them and their parents? We don't do bonuses. What? You don't work with a quota? No. People are not motivated by money. Stop it. Think of all these commission-based businesses out there, right? Do you work on salary? I have a really low, they give me a low salary, but I work on commission. Even worse, it's all commission-based. How many people in that position have ever said it to you with joy in their heart? Have said it to you with conviction? Yeah, you know, it's really, really cool. I got this new job today, and in this new job, guess what? It's all commission and bonuses. And I'm really happy with that. Come on. Anybody want to answer that? How many people do you know have ever said that in their life? Zero. Zero, zero. Zero. And that's why I don't believe in that. What I do believe in is paying people really, really well, offering them a 401k pension plan, give them paid vacations, give them time off, sick leave, give them all the things you're supposed to give them if you want to be a company they want to work for. We are striving for that. And when this second location is rocking, most of the profit from the second location is going to fund higher wages. It's going to fund a medical. I want medical for my team. I want medical. I really, really do. And we can't do that with one location. Thus is one of the reasons we have the second location. The second part of this, to help with keeping students around, building more solid connections. You know how you do that? By being present. Being fully integrated in every moment. When you talk to a parent or a student, when they walk through that door, you're never too busy. You're never too busy to hear every word they have to say. You're never too busy to serve them. You're never too busy to give them the kind of love and respect and care that they don't get at swimming, soccer, baseball. And that's why somebody said, soccer's rolling around. I've lost half my student body. You know why? You didn't serve them well. You didn't love them. If you love them really, 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 really well, better than anybody else in this whole wide world, guess what? They're going to stay with you. Some are some of our biggest months. And that's because we treat it that way. All right. So don't blame soccer. Look at the way you serve people. Look at the way you love people. Cool. All right. Next one. A lot of questions today, but I'm doing my best. Hey, today's winner, Jody, I hope I say that right. Jody Clark, you are the winner of our one merit badge basic starter kit. It is life skills like none other. As Roland Osborne says, one merit badge is a must-have for every school. It makes instilling a character development system easy and authentic. The system is easy for any team to implement. It's one of the best investments in the martial arts industry. I believe that. I love it. So, Jody, make sure you connect with me at professor@onemartialarts.com after this webinar. And guess what? We'll get you started. We'll get life skills in your school at a whole nother level. Okay. What kind of actions does your team take if they see that their month and or the first 2 weeks is not as strong as others? Do they do extra things or offer specials to enroll or renew? Okay, here's the one thing I'm going to encourage you. Stop looking at month to month. Try to look at things on a quarterly basis. Quarters are much better gauges because, you can easily have a bad month. Everybody does, me included. We all have bad months. But the thing is, if you look at your business month to month all the time, I don't think you're going to keep the big picture in mind. I really would encourage you to look at things by the quarter. But we have that. We were coming up into March, right? We had a tough first quarter in San Francisco, but I expected that. Why? Because in December we do a big, everybody, hey, Merry Christmas, here's our gift to you, 10% off everything. And we do that on purpose so we can close out the year stronger, but also so we can serve our people at a higher level. And so January, the first quarter, tends to be a little lower. But it was about $10,000 less than it was in 2014, so we mobilized. What I recommend is we might do these scarcity specials. All right, we have 20, just 20 weeks of camp at this price. Or we have 20 memberships off at 10% off. Scarcity is a good one, and you can utilize that through profit generators in Rainmaker. We can simply send an email out to everybody saying, hey, right now, we only have 20 of these, but you can get a one-year membership at 20% off, paid in full. And then it goes to Rainmaker. They can physically buy it online and pay for it online. Pretty cool? Pretty cool. So scarcity ones work really well, but we try not to do that. I don't panic. I try to look at things as quarterly basis. That's much more effective than doing month to month because you're going to drive yourself crazy. Here's one. Most of our new adults want to do non-traditional martial arts, and the current adult taekwondo class could generate more income if there were a kickboxing class in that time frame. How would you make room for kickboxing in the schedule and phase out some of the adult classes without losing them? Communication. Number one, communication. You want to talk to your existing taekwondo adult members, and you want to say, hey, here's where we're at. Can we group you guys up on these 2 days a week? Right now you got spread you out across 5 days a week. Can we group you here? A lot of taekwondos, I know John Cassidy does this in his schools, kids and parents and adults train together. It's not my model. I believe adults should train with adults, kids should train with kids for the most part. It's just more effective. I mean, would I put a 3-year-old with a 9-year-old? No way. So why would I put an adult with a kid? I just wouldn't. But some people do, so that might be one cure. And just communicate. Hey, we're going to start this new kickboxing program. We need some time slots, some prime time slots in the schedule. So we want to take our Taekwondo adult classes instead of 4 days a week. We want to schedule them to these 2 days a week. Is it going to inconvenience anybody? Well, yeah, it absolutely inconveniences me. But you want to make this move, right? So we'll go to them and say, you know what? What I'd like to do is offer you 2 complimentary privates a month to make up for that class time we're eliminating. Does that sound good to you? Yeah, because I can make one of those days for class, but I can't make the other one. Awesome, sir. 2 private lessons a month should take care of that, don't you think? Boom, and it's a done day. See, communication is important. And then also maybe offer those Taekwondo adults the opportunity to do that fitness kickboxing you want to implement, right? Say, hey, as part of your membership right now, I'm going to allow you to come to fitness kickboxing. Right? It packs the class. You got more bodies in there. They're still getting their workout on the night they normally work out. It's a little different. You change it up, and they're not losing. You won't lose them. You feel me? So look what you just did for me. You took away times because you needed to make room for your kickboxing class. But in exchange, you gave me a private lesson or 2 a month, and you're allowing me to come to fitness kickboxing. Oh, that works for me. Perceived added value. You might have taken away 2 days, but look what you gave me in return. You feel me? And that way I believe you won't lose that adult Taekwondo students that you currently have, and you'll be able to build that fitness kickboxing by opening up some primetime slots. All right. And this is an important one. I get this a lot, and I love talking to these kinds of people. You know why? Because these people to me are the heart and soul of the martial arts industry. There's more and more people out there teaching out of a park and rec, teaching out of their garage. I see that every year. 1,000 martial arts schools close. Sure, all these schools are opening, but more closing than are opening. And we need to pay attention to that. And it's that young school owner out there, that person with that passion, that heart that loves to teach. That's the one that we should be investing in because they're the future of the martial arts industry. And they're going to help us, the people that are already established. And just, it's like the rising tide, raises up the ships, however that saying goes, raises the boats up. It's the same thing here. We want to help those boats raise up by encouraging them. So let me try to get into this. I want to own my own school. I have very little money. I have taught for other people and understand how to serve and do good business. How can I make that transition to being a full-time school owner? Well, money's a big issue, right? I get that. When I opened my first school, and this is the God honest truth, I was teaching at 3 different health clubs. I was teaching at the Park and Rec out of an elementary school. I was teaching at 1, 2, 3 different martial arts schools doing their kickboxing programs and kids programs. So when I opened my school, I had no money. 4 friends came forth. One had $10,000, one had 5, one had 3,000, and collectively we started an LLC. I was the controlling member, so I had the vote, I had the say, nobody could tell me what to do, and I said I would buy them out within 3 years. That was the guys, because I didn't want a partner. You don't need to partner with one school. You just don't. So I did. And I was living in a room in my sister's house, paying $500 a month in rent. I was driving an $800 car, and I lived on $3,000 a month. That was my budget. And I promised everything I made in that school would go right back into that school. And in the beginning, I painted, I cleaned. I used to stay there till 12 midnight scrubbing the floor. Kid you not, every night. And now we have a cleaning service. So see, where there's a will, there's a way. If you really, really, really want to do this, you will find a way. But some of the more obvious things you need to do, write a business plan. And in that business plan is your projections. How much money in month 1, month 3, month 6, month 12. And I have a business plan because I just did it for the new school. So if you want it, I'll send it over to you. What is your budgets? What's your unique selling point, etc.? Because if you go to a bank and you ask for a loan, or you go to a private investor, they want to get it. Tell me why. You have to be able to give them that information. And if you don't have it written out completely on paper, right down to the last penny you spend and what you project you're going to make, forget it. No bank is going to talk to you. No investor is going to talk to you, not even your parents. You can't even go to your parents with that idea because you're going to get caught with your pants down halfway in, and that's why 9 out of 10 businesses fail. Everybody, here's a prime example. I love to bake, so I'm going to open a bakery. Well, guess what? You're not baking anymore. You're hiring, you're firing, you're doing payroll, you're keeping books, you're doing marketing. So you're no longer doing that. So be ever mindful that if you love to teach and that's all you want to do, maybe you're not meant to be a school owner. Maybe what you're meant to do is go work for somebody and teach. Maybe that's enough for you. But if you want something more, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a business owner, you better be ready to wear a lot of hats. A lot of hats, a lot of hats. And then, too, you can save money or get a loan. That's another one. You can work diligently. I tell people all the time, if I earn $100 and I spend $50, I have $50 in the bank. I make $1 million and I spend $2 million. Guess what? I'm $1 million in debt. So which one is better off? You feel me? There's that great saying, rich people save money, poor people spend money. And that's the truth. Because rich people are constantly investing, turning that money into more money, making that money work for them. So they're constantly doing that. Where poor people are in debt, they spend money, they have credit card debt up the yin-yang, and they're never able to save. How many of you say that? I can never save money. I can never save money. You've heard that from people. You probably know people like that. So that's why I write that one down. Rich people save money, poor people spend money. Cool? You might teach in as many locations as possible within a 2-mile radius of your projected location. I say that because in San Francisco, people have boroughs. They have small communities. I have people that will not come to me within a 2-mile radius. Of course, if you're in a more rural area, then you might be able to do 5 to 10 miles. But if I'm teaching in 3 or 4 health clubs, I'm teaching in a park and rec, in some after-school program, and I pool that all together and I open up my own school, guess what? A lot of those students will come with me. Because when I opened my first school, I had 100 students right away. Because they came with me from the 3 different health clubs. They came to me from the park and rec. They came to me from the 3 different karate schools I was teaching at. And my price point was low enough to compete with what they were paying in the park and rec and the other environments right out of the gate, where the transition was easy. You feel me? You can't sit there and charge $25 in the park and rec, open your own school, and ask them to pay you $150. It's a huge price jump, and it won't work. And then through all of this, why I recommend you do it this way, and I'm going to tell you why. Through all of this, you want to build your brand. You want to build your culture and your why. People will come to you versus someone else. Okay? Because I experienced that. Here I was teaching, at these different karate schools, teaching under their logo, their brand, their culture, their name. I was just a hired gun. So when this day's done, when I left them, I still had to spend the time, money, and effort establishing my brand, establishing my culture, establishing the why you should come to One Martial Arts versus the Joe Karate where I was teaching at. You feel me? So you think short-sighted. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go teach at this guy's karate school. I'm going to make all this money and I'm there. But when the day's done, it's still his karate school, his brand, his culture, and that's all you've built and promoted was his name. So it might take a little longer doing it on your own. It might take a little longer to save that money and get to that point. But every day, every step, every breath, you're building your culture. You're building your brand. You're building your why. You feel me? You feel me on that? So we've all been there at least once or twice, I'm sure, where that's happened to you, right? You're teaching for someone and then you leave or get kicked out or it doesn't work out, and there you are with nothing. No logo, no brand, nobody knows who you are, and you're starting all over. Cool? So I hope I answered that one well. Wow, everybody's still here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hold those questions, okay? I'm going to come back to them in 1 minute. Hey, am I there? Am I there? I am. Wow, we're at the questions. So I get to start looking at your questions. Before we do that, I like to tell you what's coming up for me. I'll be at the Martial Arts Super Show at the Venetian in Las Vegas. July 7th at 4 p.m. is my time slot for speaking. I'm talking about designing a high performance team. And it's not going to be, here's an instructor's training program, the same stuff we hear over and over and over. Now, I'm going to talk about communication. I'm going to talk about culture. I'm going to talk about things that I've learned from companies like Zappos, where culture is everything and everything's about service and serving customers. I'm going to talk about hiring culturally. You wanted that designing that high performance team is not just about finding that rock star and teaching them how to, teach the curriculum. Man, that's secondary. If you don't hire them properly, if you don't hire the right person and get them on the bus in the right seat, then it doesn't matter how great your system for training that instructor is. And then from that point, how do you continue to inspire them to get them to want to be, make this their career? That's super important too. A lot of it is communication. I'm going to talk about conflict. Conflict is not a bad thing. Conflict with trust is a good thing if it's going to help refine your purpose, if it's going to help do what you do better. I like conflict, like in that movie Jerry Maguire, where they're arguing in the bathroom, and Tom Cruise says that we're arguing, and Cuba Gooding Jr. goes, "We're not arguing, we're talking, and we're getting closer." So conflict is not a bad thing as long as it's done with trust and respect. So I'll talk about that as well, and many other things that are very, very cutting edge. So that's one seminar I'm going to tell you not to miss, not just because it's mine, but because it's drawing upon all these other industries and giving this cutting edge way to design a team that is unlike anything we've ever heard before. Cool? So that's at the Super Show in Vegas. And that's what? 7 weeks away? Very close. Okay. So now I'm going to go with your questions. But guess what? You got to type them in because I've got tons of questions and I can scroll all the way back here, all the way back. And I'm going to answer questions as they come at me now. Cool? Kevin, does your Excellent Kids curriculum the same as your program? No, One Merit Badges is totally different. We borrow upon it a little bit, Kevin, that we use the Mat Chat, the student parent handout, and the instructor handout. But no, I have written lesson plans for all 12 life skills that takes you through a 12-week cycle. So there's so much more, so much in that. Ian, you've mentioned it before in a webinar, but I couldn't understand how to spell the website where you said to go. Spell the website? You mean my website? What's that question, Ian? What website are you looking for, sir? Type that in. All right, Chris, do you offer family discounts? Yes, we do. The family discounts we offer is the second member is 20%, the third member is 25%, the fourth member is 25%, the fifth member is 25%. Most schools will do the first two students are free, first two students are full price, and everybody else after that is free. Well, guess what? Most people only ever have 2 kids. Think about it. So you're not giving me any value with my second kid. The first 2 people are full price, and then the third and fourth get discounts. So that never made sense to me. It's not as nearly as appealing as if you offer them that. Does that make sense? So guess what? Most of the kids, families have 2 kids. If I know that second kid's getting 20% off, I'm more likely to enroll them than if it's full price, and I'm more likely to stay longer. So I hope that answers that question. Ian, where can I ask a recording of your previous webinar? At Vimeo. Vimeo.com has all my webinars. And if you go to my Facebook page, I'm Brannon Beliso, all the videos on the left-hand corner, all my webinars are there. And I'll make a point of posting that link at Facebook after, where you can see it. And I guess you can subscribe to my Vimeo channel, right? I don't know that too well. Jonathan, congrats on your new school. Other than your wife, what are your top 5 marketing pieces, and what percentage would you say each represents? Jonathan, it's not an exact science. As I shared, in San Francisco, Facebook ads are really working well, but in Millbrae, the Facebook ads aren't working so well. I'm studying my click-throughs and the pixel and all that, and we're getting a better return. Like we ran a day camp that's still running. Last week on Thursday, we had 10 weeks of camp booked in San Francisco on Thursday and Friday, 0 in Millbrae. But you know what? Somebody called us up who had a direct mail piece we sent to them 2 months ago saying they're ready to enroll their daughter. Is that a trip? So it's not an exact science, but what I would recommend, Jonathan, sir, is I say it all the time. Don't market one way to 70 people. Market 70 ways to 70 people. That's really the art form. And you want to do everything. Like the guy said, we're the art of selling without selling. And I know that's kind of kumbaya metaphysical, but it isn't. It isn't. We really started doing birthday parties at the second location, and we made them all theme-based and big hero and this and that. We have like birthday parties booked for the next 2, 3 months. It's crazy. And as far as generating leads from that birthday, we get so many people for camp birthdays from that. San Francisco, no way. It's not the same. It's not the same. We don't have as many birthday parties in San Francisco. So you've got to look at your demographic, Jonathan. You've got to look at your culture. You've got to look at what's going around you. If you teach mainly children, where do moms hang out and why? Why? So if they hang out at swimming, gymnastics, we run one ad in a parenting magazine. That's the only print ad I do for our business, the only one. And we run it there because I know this magazine is going to be everywhere kids hang out, everywhere moms hang out. So you want to find out where your demographic hangs out and go to them. Our main demographic is kids and women. So guess what? We hang out in those places. We put rack cards in those places. When we do a Facebook ad, we're going to cater it to women between the ages of 27 and 49, and they must have preschool children, they must have elementary school children, and they must love fitness, and they must, so you can really tailor that. And of course, Yelp. Yelp for us is huge. I know some people hate Yelp. They hate Yelp, they help Yelp. For us, Yelp is huge. It's one of our number one forums. Everybody uses Yelp for directions, to find out about a restaurant. Yelp is big for us. Probably wouldn't be big in Germany or in Australia, but it's huge here in the United States. But most people write off Yelp because they say, Yelp filters out my good reviews that all my parents are posting. Quick lesson on Yelp, okay? You know why they filter them out? You set up a computer in your school. Between prime hours of 5 and 8, your IP address pops up at Yelp reviews, flooded with 20 reviews. Red light. It's your IP address. It's coming from your computer at your karate school, and there were 20 to 30 people that had never posted a Yelp review in their life. So what I tell people to do, you know how you get around that? Have your parents set up a Yelp account. Do a review on a restaurant. Following week, do a review on a dry cleaner. Third week, do a review on your school. It will stick. But if you simply put it in your school and it's coming from your IP address and it's flooded during business hours, that's a huge red flag for the spiders. And they're going to filter them and kick them right out. Make sense? Gary's asking me, are your merit badges available and tape for the belt? Yes, they are. All of them are stripes now. If you go to our website, because of the Excellent Kids program, we do have tip stripes where the word is on the belt. But you know what? A stripe, a sticker, yuck, yuck, yuck. It doesn't have that value. We don't call it a patch. When they can earn this badge of honor, like the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that life skill takes on so much of a higher meaning. So do think about that. I know budget might be a concern, but be very careful with that, okay? Kevin's got another question. No, it's the same one. Let's see. Jason is asking, do you like autoresponders or flows in Rainmaker, or do you want to try to answer all emails, inquire in a personal way? Both. Both. Right away, if you're a prospect and we gather you as a web lead at our website, boom, you get an instant email with pricing, videos, link to class schedule, all that stuff. But it'll say, and if we may serve you better, if you would like to give us your phone number, we will happily call you at a time that's convenient for you. We put it in their lap. We make it their choice. So we're ever mindful of that. But I think all of it matters. So people say, well, you do this great newsletter every month. If you go to onemartialarts.com, look under news, you'll see our newsletter. Yeah, we do a hard copy that's printed and sits, small amount in the school. We do it through Constant Contact in an digital newsletter. We're posting it at Facebook. All those different mediums. You want to make sure you're communicating at the highest level. So communication, you have to do all those things. So do I think autoresponders or flows are one way? Absolutely. Do I think a personal email, if merited, is important? Absolutely. It's about being present. Really, Jason, it's about being present in every moment, in tune with every client. It's a lot of work, but is it worth it? Our numbers speak for themselves, right? Other questions. Chris, my concern about going into full-time, okay, well, we covered that. Yeah, that downtime, Chris, downtime, we've got to try to look at that differently, people. Look at a great, great restaurant. When are they open? Lunch and dinner. They need to close after lunch to prep for that awesome dinner. So, we're mindful that we rock and roll heavy during our morning hours when kickboxing. We rock heavy at lunchtime around 1:30 with that one adult class, and then we rock heavy from 3:30 to 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So don't be what's the word, discouraged with that downtime. It's not downtime. It's how you choose to look at it. So during that downtime, you should be out, pounding the pavement, talking to the community, calling people, working on your Facebook ads, working on your Facebook page, working on your marketing materials, cleaning your school. I mean, there is no downtime. as far as I'm concerned. I told somebody the other night, I sleep 4 to 5 hours a night. If I never had to sleep, I'd never sleep. I think sleeping is a waste of time. I don't want to miss out on anything. So I don't think there is any downtime. Not at all. Next question. Give me those questions. Ian, can you go over again how you structure your curriculum for 1 day a week versus 2 days? Absolutely, sir. And I do have our curriculum as well as the rotating curriculum document. Any of these documents you hear I talk about in the webinar, email me at professor@onemartialarts.com and I'll get that right over to you. Promise. So basically you have your AB student, the A day. This is a twice a week student now, right? Ian, so he comes on Monday. They do all curriculum working on that tip. Wednesday, they come and it's all sparring, drills, bag work, conditioning, and sparring. Okay, and that repeats every week for that person who's twice a week. I'm a once a week student. I come the first week. My whole class, the whole 45 minutes will be nothing but curriculum. I come the second week to my once a week class. The first 20 minutes is curriculum. The other 25 minutes is sparring, drills, and skills and sparring. So you get a little less sparring time, but we found that it was a matter of creating a curriculum that was appealing to that twice a week student that they didn't get bored with and was still very challenging, but wasn't overwhelming for the once a week student. Does that make sense? So you figure that twice a week student is getting 90 minutes of curriculum in 2 weeks. Okay? The once a week student is getting 45 minutes the first week, 20 minutes the second week. So they're getting 65 minutes. So there you go. You got 90 minutes in a 2-week period for the twice a week student. You got 65 minutes. Those are 25-minute different, right? So it's a matter of designing a curriculum that can meet in the middle there where that kid with 65 minutes of class time is having fun and isn't overwhelmed, but that 90-minute of class time in 2 weeks for the twice a week student is challenged and they're engaged. Can you see that picture? I hope I explained that well. If I didn't, Ian, then catch me after it and we'll talk more, okay? All right, Doug, do you offer any other programs other than 1 or 2 days a week? Nope. No, we don't. You know, I trained 6 days a week, 4 hours a day growing up. Most people would burn out on that. What we do offer for that gung-ho twice a week student is you can buy private lessons. We're big on private lessons. We do tons of private lessons to the tune of about, I think, $80,000, $90,000 a year in private lessons alone. We offer a 8 a.m. practice class where you can come in and that's where the families train together. And it's just practice. People supervise, walk around, and kids are practicing. It is packed in the dead of winter, rain blowing sideways. It is packed. The early bird catches the worm. People get up early. They love it. And again, perceived added value. I pay you for twice a week and I get this extra class each week, Saturday. Very cool. And we also do a once a month makeup stripe workshop. So by the end of the month, we're analyzing who didn't earn their stripe, who missed classes, and we're encouraging them to come to the makeup stripe workshop. They come for an hour and they get to work on their tip. Is that cool? So they get those added classes there. If you're once or twice a week, you can still get more training. Clay, my good friend Clay, how are you, sir? Okay, do you handle all of your marketing or do you share the responsibility with your staff? And if so, how do you get it all accomplished in a consistent and timely manner? That's a great question, Clayton. We are all marketing. For example, we have a Mother's Day event at both locations. There's a team member whose job is to take pictures and post it at Facebook. Okay? I recently hired a full-time in-house guy to work on my website and to handle all of our social media. You know, I was talking to Randy Reed the other day, and as he's studying Facebook ads, he's going, this is something you can't do alone. Not consistently and effectively. It's hit or miss. You know that. One Facebook ad you run is cool, the next one sucks. So it's something you do have to outsource. I agree with that to a certain degree. So I realized where today's technology is with social media and everything, I designed a position in my company, and that's his job, social media. So he's handling our profit generators and branding them. Profit generators are where you can go in and buy a membership, buy a week of camp. Simply go to our website, look at our camp page, click on a week of camp, you'll see a profit generator. Look at our specials, boom, you click on that, you'll see a profit generator for a $99 4-week special. But what you will see is a consistency in branding. Consistency in branding, okay? I'm smiling right now, folks. Anyways, I just love what I do. So to get it done in a consistent manner, though, Clay, it really is communication. You know, we try to do these big team meetings once a week, big team meetings. I'm big on the 5-minute huddle. I really am. I'll catch my social media guy at Facebook and say, hey, sir, right now we're doing a scarcity thing. We're looking at our numbers for the end of the month. You know, we want to get another 10 grand into the till. So here's what I want to do. Let's advertise camp at $100 off for a week, but there's only 20 spots. Or hey, let's tell them private lesson cards, 10% off a private lesson card, but it's only good for 48 hours. Boom. We get that all the time, right? At Best Buy and ever. 48-hour sale, 24. So those kind of things are more emotional based. Do they work? Absolutely. So we've chosen to hire somebody full time now. He's doing 30, almost 40 hours a week. He's working on a new website with me hand in hand because I believe in a custom based website. It's now it's everything. Your website's everything. It's the first place they go to. I'm not handing that off to somebody else to do that and charge me a monthly fee. That's my value system. But so that's a long answer to that short question, Clay. Thoughts on qualifying leads. I know that people say never give your prices up front, but yeah, I think I answered that Rich. Let me see. He's saying some more. I found that these people are most likely to sign up after the intro. I hear about people getting hundreds of leads. I just wonder if they're really qualified leads. And, I would question that too, Rich. I find people all the time are saying, I got 300 leads, but then there's no name, no name, no name, no. What good is that web lead? If they're not willing to leave you your name, then whatever you put on that landing page wasn't compelling enough, where they felt connected to you, where they're willing to at least leave their name. But I got an email. Yeah, but it's incomplete. It's almost as bad as getting a girl's phone number and it's the wrong phone number when the day's done. An email is an email. My email gets flooded. I get 300 to 400 emails a day. It means nothing to me if you have my email address. Nothing, nothing. But if I'm willing to give you my name, you did something very compelling in that landing page that made me want to, at least leave you my name. You feel me? So I'm challenged when I say that I got 300 leads this month. Yeah, but 250, there's no name. They don't feel connected to you enough where they at least leave your name. You feel me? So with that said, Rich, do I think they're qualified leads? Yes. I experienced that with Groupon when I used to do Groupons. We don't do them anymore. In one period, we had like 800 kickboxers through in a year and like 60 converted. And people said, well, then you're a bad salesman. I said, exactly, we are. We're a terrible salesman. We don't sell, we serve. And once we got rid of our Groupons, our members were happier because our classes weren't flooded with these unqualified leads. And we had people look at us say, hey, you don't need to give me pricing. I'm what's called a Grouponer. I will do these 10 classes and I'm out the door, buddy. That's just the way it is. I'm always looking for the best deal. Oh, okay. So our classes were flooded. Our full paying members were unhappy with all these Grouponers, and it wasn't a good day for us. It was not. So yeah, are there qualified leads? Absolutely. Do I think every lead is a qualified lead? Absolutely. Well, can we turn it into a qualified lead? Absolutely. But you know it. If all they want is price, then that's all they want is price. You could give them everything, but if they can't afford you and they're not willing to pay it, no matter how you promote the benefits, they're not going to pay you for it. Done day, right? Done day. So, that's a tough one. And if you want to talk about that more, Rich, let's talk about that offline. Kevin, could you give me more detail about your makeup tip class? Yeah, it's real simple. We do 2 tips a month, right? And so at the end of the month, we have a Saturday from 3 to 5. The first 1 hours for the lower belts, the second hour is for the upper belts. You come in during that time. Our goal is to work on the 2 tips that you didn't earn that month, because we were on the mindset nobody gets left behind. You want to reduce your attrition rate, make sure people get to belt testing on time. But do not give people a belt because they pay you for it. That's why I'm not into this accumulative class time. You must be proficient. You must be able to perform that curriculum at a degree that you pass, okay? So be mindful of that too. So I hope that helps. Yeah, adults and kids trade together during that time. Absolutely, Kevin, they do. Because it's a makeup stripe workshop. So whether you're a kid or you're an adult, everybody does. Do you offer? Okay. Any other questions? I think we're down. I want to wrap this up. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. Any other questions? Give them to me. Come on. No question is a bad question. Going once, going twice. Everybody's still here. Yay. Thank you for staying with me. That really inspires me. I know people can get this in a recorded format, but for me, energy-wise, just to have you on this call with me, being able to feel your energy, to be able to you type things in, that's so inspiring to me. I mean, you guys have no idea. Beyond being sponsored by Rainmaker and them doing this and paying for this, to be able to sit there with you guys and hang out and just connect, it's really important to me. Because we are the school owners. We are the heart and soul of the martial arts industry. And it's just really special to hang out with you guys for this hour or so, offer you this information, read your input, and all the different things that are there. I think it's just too cool. Hey, Brett's got one. What is a day in the life once you could afford staff at 6 a.m. to do XYZ? Well, I'll tell you this. Before I opened this new school, I was working 5 hours a week. Brett, I was working 5 hours a week. And those days are spent raising kids, taking them to school, picking them up, doing the things that I want to do when I want to do it. And I want you to write this down because this is super important. And you should write this down, put it somewhere, and look at it every day. Remember, words are powerful. And if you look at words and you utilize them on a daily basis, they can change your mindset in a heartbeat. I find what plagues our industry the most is the mindset of most school owners. They don't have the business mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset. They don't have the service based, whatever the case may be. I think the biggest problem in my school is me. And I'll say that all the time. Not my students, not my team, not the environment. It's me. And I must constantly work on me to make that change. So write this down. Wouldn't you rather have the freedom to teach when you want to teach versus having no freedom because you have to teach? How many of you missed a special event for your kid because you had to be at a belt promotion? How many of you missed that weekend family gathering or that dance recital or watch your kid earn their swim ribbon because you were busy at that school, right? It needs to change. And in order for that to happen, you need to have a team you trust and love and depend upon and know without your team you can't do it, right? So that's my feeling about that. And it's a beautiful thing. And now I'm back in the saddle a little bit, teaching a bit more, and I'm in this new school. I love it too, because I'm becoming a better instructor. I'm learning more about my Excellent Kids program. I'm writing more drills. I'm bettering one merit badges. I'm coming up with better systems for teaching and training people because I'm back in the mix more. I'm more, a hands-on guy in the second location again. And so I'm learning a lot of the systems I wrote before I walked out of the San Francisco location 3-4 years ago are obsolete, and they need to be bettered and they need to be improved upon. So it's all a mindset. I love to teach. Teaching is what I do, and I love it more than anything. I do. Why 3 to 5 times? Why not during regular time? Because that Saturday we set aside, Kevin, it's a special day. They come at the end of the month. The instructor's sole purpose is to make sure those kids who did not earn their tip earn their tip. I mean, you can't do it during class time. You're working on that tip. What if the kid comes to those 2 classes, Kevin, in a 2-week period, and they weren't proficient enough to earn the stripe? What do you do then? Well, we have 15 minutes between classes. We could try to do it then. We can offer them a complimentary private. Yeah. But if you have a scheduled makeup stripe workshop once a month, people can work that into their schedule, know they can count upon that if they don't earn that stripe. You feel me? You feel me? You feel me? Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that a lot, sir. I really, really do. I do. So you guys, I think that's it, man. We're gonna wrap this up now. I want to say I am Brannon Beliso. My event is sponsored by Rainmaker. We got Ron Sell, we got Scott, Devin, the whole gang over there. It is great software. Nothing is perfect though. Please, when you get a third-party software, no matter who it is, I love Rainmaker personally because they care. What I'm really looking at is for that service. They will have glitches. There will be challenges. Any third-party software does. Anyone who tells you it doesn't, they're full of it. It's a salesman trying to sell you. Every software will have challenges, but if they have the support team to back it up, to fix it, to correct it, to make it better, that's really what it's all about. And I tell my clients that all the time. We are not perfect. We will make mistakes. And when we do, please call us out on it. And what I will guarantee you is a smile, an apology, and we will work harder to improve upon what we do to better serve you. This is Brannon Beliso. I want to say thank you, everybody. Catch me at Vegas, okay? Everybody come out, come by my booth, the One Merit booth 110, and I hope you attend my seminar. Sit up front, okay? And everybody say hi. This is Brannon Beliso. Until I catch you next month, you go out there and make a difference.